shouldn't be what can we do to get him in the lineup. It should be like how good can we get this guy, right?
Right.
Like you see a team full of pros. Usually they're pretty good,
Right.
right? So rarely do you see a situation besides maybe some select Power Four schools where you're getting this entire roster of guys who can really do it at the professional level,
Correct.
right? And so as a player, it was always my aspiration to be like, okay, I'm going to work like a pro. I'm going to try to get to that space where I feel like I'm a professional, and then just climb the ladder, right? And so as you're working and as you're developing, that thought process of what's that next step? Like you just climb up the rungs of the ladder,
Correct.
and then once you're there, next rung, right? And so you set these goals where you want to do your best to make these attainable, right?
Right.
But it should be challenging. It should be a little bit uncomfortable. And a lot of
Correct.
guys, I was talking with Ryan Brownlee on my podcast, who's one of the directors at the ABCA.
Right.
He had a fantastic point about the emphasis of changing environments and what we can do with our habits in that space. We've seen some incredible studies that show we can break habits easier in a new environment,
Correct.
good or bad, right? So if you're moving to a new space, really hammer in on what you do good. If you want to make a change, it's a great time,
Correct.
right? As opposed to that stagnation of staying in the same spot for a really long time. We want that uncomfortableness sometimes as athletes because that leads us to some really great development moments.
Right. Right. And it brings the best out of you, something you didn't even realize you had.
Exactly.
Which that brings me to the next question. So we talked about development, we talked about growth.